At just 24, Indian engineer Priya Rao was presenting her solar-powered vehicle battery technology at the Clean Energy Innovation Summit in Silicon Valley when the head judge, Dr. Robert Mitchell, interrupted her. "Young lady," he said sharply, "your English is poor, and you're struggling to explain technical concepts. It would be better if someone else presented." Priya's face flushed red, her hands trembling, but she tried to continue. Mitchell cut her off again. "Please, don't waste our time. Your accent is too heavy, and your PowerPoint looks amateurish." That's when someone in the audience stood up, Elon Musk. The look on Mitchell's face froze as the world-famous tech CEO said, "I understand her just fine. And what she's presenting might be the future of Tesla." In that single moment, Mitchell's career and Priya's life changed forever. Before the story begins, drop a comment. Which city are you watching from? And if you believe in justice and equality, share this story and subscribe, because together, our voices are stronger. The San Jose Convention Center buzzed with the energy of innovation. The Clean Energy Innovation Summit had attracted over 2,000 attendees, venture capitalists, tech entrepreneurs, researchers, and industry leaders, all gathered to witness the next generation of sustainable technology solutions. This year's pitch competition featured 15 finalists, each with 5 minutes to present their breakthrough ideas to a panel of 5 distinguished judges. Priya Rao sat in the backstage waiting area, her hands trembling slightly as she reviewed her notes for the 100th time. At 24, she was the youngest finalist and one of only 3 women presenting. Her Stanford doctoral research had led to a breakthrough in photovoltaic nano-coating technology that could increase solar-to-battery energy transfer efficiency by 40%, a development that could revolutionize electric vehicle charging. The technology was solid. Her data was irrefutable. But Priya's anxiety stemmed from something beyond technical concerns. She'd grown up in Bangalore, attending IIT Delhi before earning her Stanford admission. Her English was fluent, grammatically excellent, but carried the distinct accent of her upbringing. The rolled R's, the slightly different vowel emphasis, the cadence that marked her as unmistakably Indian. In academic settings at Stanford, her professors had never questioned her language abilities. Her papers were published in prestigious journals. Her presentations and research seminars were well received. But she'd noticed the subtle shift when speaking to venture capitalists or industry professionals, the slight confusion on their faces, the requests to repeat herself, the automatic assumption that accented English meant unclear thinking. On stage, the previous presenter finished to enthusiastic applause. The moderator announced, "Our next presenter is Priya Rao from Stanford University, with breakthrough research in photovoltaic energy transfer. Please welcome Priya." Priya walked onto the stage, the lights momentarily blinding as her eyes adjusted. The 5 judges sat at a long table in front of the stage. Dr. Robert Mitchell from MIT, a renowned energy systems professor and the panel's chair, Dr. Sarah Chun from Berkeley, venture capitalist Marcus Williams, Tesla's head of battery research, Dr. James Rodriguez, and clean tech entrepreneur Lisa Park. What Priya didn't know was that in the audience's third row, Elon Musk had slipped in quietly 15 minutes earlier. He rarely attended such events publicly, but Tesla's battery team had flagged this summit as potentially containing breakthrough research worth his personal attention. He sat with a laptop open, taking notes, deliberately avoiding the attention his presence usually commanded. "Good afternoon," Priya began, her voice carrying clearly despite her nervousness. "My name is Priya Rao, and I am presenting research on nanocrystalline photovoltaic coating that increases direct solar-to-battery energy transfer efficiency by 40%. Her accent was noticeable, but her articulation was clear. The words were precise, the technical terminology correct. Dr. Mitchell leaned forward slightly, his expression already showing subtle skepticism. He glanced at his fellow judges, a look that communicated his assessment before Priya had spoken more than 2 sentences. "The current limitation in electric vehicle solar charging," Priya continued, pulling up her first slide showing energy transfer diagrams, is that conventional photovoltaic panels lose approximately 60% of captured energy during conversion and transfer to battery systems. My research has developed a nanocrystalline coating that— Excuse me, Dr. Mitchell interrupted, his voice carrying authority that immediately silenced the room. Miss Rao, was it? Yes, sir. Priya Rao. Miss Rao, I'm having difficulty understanding your English. Could you speak more slowly and clearly? The request seemed reasonable on its surface, but the tone carried condescension. Priya felt heat rising to her cheeks. Several audience members shifted uncomfortably. Of course, Priya said, willing her voice to remain steady. I will speak more slowly. The nanocrystalline coating that I have developed. I'm sorry, Mitchell interrupted again, but I'm still having trouble following your technical explanation. Your accent is quite heavy, and for precise scientific concepts, clarity is essential. Perhaps you have someone from your lab who could present this material more clearly? The implication hung in the air like poison. The other judges looked uncomfortable but remained silent. Priya's hands gripped the podium, her carefully prepared presentation crumbling before it had truly begun. Dr. Mitchell, Priya said, her voice wavering slightly, my English is perfectly capable of explaining my research. I have published 4 papers in peer-reviewed journals, and my work has been presented at international conferences. I'm not questioning your written work. Mitchell cut her off, his patience clearly thin. I'm saying that oral presentation requires different skills. When you say nanocrystalline, I hear something that sounds more like nanocrystalline. When technical terminology isn't pronounced correctly, it creates confusion. Perhaps we should move on to the next presenter, and you can submit your work in written form. Priya felt the humiliation washing over her in waves. The other presenters had been allowed their full 5 minutes without interruption. Several had stumbled over words, used filler phrases like and presented with far less technical precision, but none had been stopped and told their English was insufficient. Dr. Mitchell, I respectfully request the opportunity to complete my presentation, Priya said, finding strength in desperation. I have traveled from Stanford to present this research, and I believe the content merits your attention regardless of my accent. Mitchell's expression hardened. Miss Rao, this is a professional summit with limited time and high standards. If you cannot communicate your ideas clearly to an English-speaking technical audience, then perhaps your research isn't ready for this platform. Your PowerPoint slides are also quite basic. It suggests a lack of professional presentation experience. I think it's best if we— Actually, a voice cut through the room from the audience. I'm understanding her perfectly. Every head turned. A man in jeans and a black t-shirt was standing in the 3rd row, laptop closed. The recognition rippled through the crowd like electricity. That distinctive face, the South African accent. Elon Musk. Dr. Mitchell's face went through a rapid series of expressions: surprise, recognition, and dawning horror. Mr. Musk, I didn't realize you were attending. Musk finished, walking toward the stage with casual authority. I tend to show up when there's actual innovation to see, which is why I'm confused about why you're interrupting a presentation about technology that could solve one of Tesla's biggest challenges. He climbed the side steps onto the stage, standing next to Priya, who looked stunned. May I? He asked her, gesturing toward the microphone. She nodded wordlessly. Dr. Mitchell. Musk addressed the judge directly, his tone carrying that particular edge of someone not used to being questioned. In the 2 minutes before you interrupted her, Miss Rao clearly explained that she's developed a nanocrystalline coating. And yes, I understood her pronunciation perfectly. That increases solar-to-battery transfer efficiency by 40%. 40%. Do you understand what that means for electric vehicle technology? Mitchell stammered. Well, of course, but the presentation quality. The presentation quality? Musk's eyebrows rose. Her slides show clear data, proper methodology, and compelling results. I've sat through hundreds of VC pitches with flashy graphics that contain zero substance. She's presenting actual research with actual implications, and you stopped her because of her accent. The room was dead silent. Someone in the audience had their phone up, recording. The moment was being captured, documented, about to become permanent. "I didn't mean to imply," Mitchell began. "You explicitly told her that her English wasn't good enough for this platform," Musk interrupted. "You suggested someone else present her own research because you didn't like how she pronounced nanocrystalline. You dismissed her PowerPoint as amateurish despite it containing more substantive data than I've seen at most tech conferences." He turned to address the entire panel of judges. "Let me tell you what I heard in those 2 minutes before you interrupted her. I heard someone explaining that conventional photovoltaic systems lose 60% of captured solar energy during conversion and transfer. That's accurate. It's exactly the problem Tesla's battery team has been trying to solve for 3 years. I heard her mention a nanocrystalline coating solution. That's exactly the approach we've been researching but haven't perfected." Turning back to Mitchell, Musk's voice carried steel. "What I'm hearing now is a prestigious professor more concerned with how ideas sound than what those ideas actually mean. You're judging her accent instead of her data. You're dismissing her presentation style instead of evaluating her innovation. And you're doing it on stage, in front of 2,000 people, creating exactly the kind of hostile environment that drives talented researchers away from industry engagement." Mitchell's face was pale, sweat visible on his forehead. "Mr. Musk, I assure you, I wasn't." "You were," Musk said flatly. "And everyone here knows it. The question now is what happens next." He looked at Priya, who stood frozen in disbelief that Elon Musk was not only defending her, but standing on stage doing it. "Miss Rao, would you like to finish your presentation? I'd very much like to hear about your methodology and results. And I promise not to interrupt you over pronunciation." Priya found her voice, though it wavered with emotion. "Yes, thank you. I would like to finish." "Then please, continue," Musk said, stepping back, but remaining on stage, a clear signal that he was personally invested in hearing her complete presentation. Priya took a breath, looking out at an audience that was now completely focused, completely attentive. She advanced to her next slide, showing the molecular structure of her nano-coating. The nanocrystalline coating utilizes a proprietary blend of titanium dioxide and quantum dots suspended in a polymer matrix, she began, her voice gaining strength with each word. When applied to conventional photovoltaic cells, the coating creates quantum tunneling pathways that allow electron transfer with significantly reduced resistance. She continued for the full remaining 4 minutes, explaining her methodology, showing her data, presenting efficiency curves that demonstrated the 40% improvement. Musk asked 2 technical questions that showed he was following the research closely. The other judges sat silent, afraid to interrupt, afraid to question, acutely aware that their colleague had created a scandal that was already spreading through social media. When Priya finished, the audience erupted in applause, partly for her research, partly for the drama they'd witnessed, partly in solidarity against the discrimination they'd seen. Musk spoke directly to the judges. "I think we can all agree that Ms. Rao's research merits serious consideration. Tesla would like to discuss a collaboration. We'll be in touch," he said to Priya directly. Then he addressed the summit organizers in the front row. "And I think this panel needs to seriously evaluate what just happened here. Dr. Mitchell's behavior was discriminatory, unprofessional, and exactly the kind of gatekeeping that holds back innovation. If this is the standard for your judging panels, you need to reconsider your selection criteria." Walking off stage, Musk paused to shake Priya's hand. "Send me your research paper. All of it. And your contact information. Tesla's battery team will want to meet with you." After he left, the summit dissolved into chaos. Journalists surrounded Priya. Dr. Mitchell sat frozen at the judges' table, understanding that his career had just been destroyed in under 10 minutes. Videos of the incident were already viral, hashtags trending, think pieces being written in real time about discrimination in STEM, about accent bias, about who gets to be heard in innovation spaces. Dr. Sarah Chun, one of the other judges, approached Priya during the break. "I want to apologize. I should have spoken up. I should have stopped Robert from treating you that way. I was a coward, and I'm sorry." 3 days later, Tesla's head of battery research contacted Priya directly, inviting her to Fremont for a facility tour and research discussion. 1 week later, Tesla offered her a summer research fellowship with a path to full-time employment postdoctorate. Dr. Robert Mitchell submitted his resignation from MIT 2 weeks after the incident, under pressure from the university after student protests and faculty petitions. His behavior became a case study in implicit bias training programs across academia. And Priya's nano-crystalline coating technology became the foundation for Tesla's next-generation solar integration system. Acknowledged in patents and papers, her name attached to innovation that would help millions of electric vehicles charge more efficiently. 6 months later, Priya was invited to speak at the same Clean Energy Summit, this time as a keynote presenter. She opened her talk with a simple statement: "Ideas don't have accents. Innovation doesn't sound like any particular language. And the future of technology will be built by people from everywhere, speaking every way, bringing perspectives that can't be contained by narrow definitions of who sounds professional." The room erupted in applause, and somewhere in the audience, someone who sounded different, who looked different, who'd been told their voice wasn't right. That person found courage to share their own breakthrough idea. Sometimes justice comes from unexpected defenders, from people with platforms choosing to use them, from moments of prejudice being interrupted by power speaking truth. Sometimes one person's courage to continue despite humiliation, combined with one person's willingness to interrupt injustice, can change entire systems. Dr. Mitchell's discrimination became a cautionary tale. Priya's perseverance became an inspiration. And one interrupted presentation became the moment that forced an industry to confront how it judged who deserved to be heard.